to her murder. Then they wrote me back and they said their names on that CD and we have to protect those people's privacy. Again, I wrote them back and I said, no, if they are principal parties in my daughter's death, I'm entitled to their names. The Army at that point told me not to contact them anymore, to contact their legal department. So I went to Congressman Clay's office and I filled out a Freedom of Information Act to get that CD. And of course, when they had the Jessica Lynch Pet Tillman hearings, he announced at that time that he wanted us to get that CD. And so the Army apprehensively complied, and when we got it, we were shocked.
Have you been able to talk with any other members of the military who served with your daughter to attest to her state of mind? I mean, Linda Johnson just told us about talking to her daughter on the phone. What about people in Iraq?
I thought this was ironic. As I sat there on Thursday and listened to the criminal investigator read the charges in this case, he referenced 3 people. And as he talked, I recognized who those 3 people were. The male that he claimed was LaVena's boyfriend had actually been contacted by a news media person from a major network. And that person not only told them that he wasn't LaVena's boyfriend, that they were friends. LaVena told him she was taught not to have sex until she was married. And that young man also told the news person that LaVena was murdered. The person who did it had been admonished, but the Army is covering for him. The other 2 ladies that he referred to, both of them had called me. One of them had talked to me and said that LaVena was fine, that well, they said they thought she was seeing somebody. That's what they said, sneaking off seeing somebody. And so when I asked them, I said, well, what makes you think that? They said, well, LaVena disappeared a couple of times. Well, that message that I got from Iraq told me that LaVena knew people on that post other than those 2 females. So I said, well, did you know they said LaVena committed suicide? And she said, no way. Now, the second woman called me the next day, and apparently the first one had talked to her. And so this woman said, I think they misunderstood us, Dr. Johnson, so we talked a bit. And so she said, did you get LaVena's money? And I said, I think that's a private matter. And she said, no, LaVena had a lot of money on her. And I said, I didn't get that. I got 3 pennies. She said, LaVena had a lot of money on her, and somebody took her money. So while we were in that meeting on Thursday, I said to the criminal investigator, she had money on her, and either the people who murdered her took it or CID took it. When I made that allegation, I got absolutely no response from them.
Linda Johnson, what is it that you would like people to do? How would it help you to find out what actually happened to your daughter?
We just need the people who are responsible. Well, we know that the people we're dealing with, they lie as easy as they breathe. So that's why we need the congressional hearing, so that people can be under oath and tell the truth. We want justice for our daughter, because I believe with all my heart my daughter was murdered. I cannot look at the pictures. I don't have to look at the pictures. I've heard enough from my husband, and it took him a while to even let me know the things that had been done to my precious daughter. And to know that my daughter was set on fire and somebody tried to burn her body, that was heartbreaking, heartbreaking.
And the other thing, you know, we deserve closure. This is ridiculous for us to lose a 19-year-old daughter that loved this country, and then to have people not only to lie how she died, but to desecrate her character to make to justify a suicide. That is insulting. That is demeaning. And in addition to that, my family is under a tremendous emotional stress because of this. Fortunately for me, it's anger, but the rest of my family, they're hurt desperately. And these people act like they don't care. And that bothers me.
They don't care. They put on a uniform and they say honor and integrity. They have no morals, no honor, and no integrity. And I don't know how to even sleep at night.
I'm looking at the website LaVenaJohnson.com, and it says colorofchange.org is launching a LaVena petition, addressing the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform and its chair, Representative Henry Waxman, to launch an investigation right now. Are you supporting that?
Yes, and one of the reasons why we really appreciated that effort is because they did a final report on the Jessica Lynch Pat Tillman hearing and the admonishment of the Army for the way they came in and was deceptive to Congress. Mentioned in that report was, in lieu of the fact that Pat Tillman and Jessica Lynch were famous people, there are some other people out there that are not famous that the Army had done the same thing to, and my daughters and our family, rather, we were mentioned in that report. And so we appreciated that effort. When we were there, we had a brochure that we had made up, and the brochure is advocating that we get some congressional support. I gave a handful of those to members of Congress. They passed it out. And Representative Waxman even adapted that brochure as part of the minutes for that day. And so I stood up and thanked him for that effort. So, yeah, we support that effort 100%.
I want to thank you both for being with us. Linda Johnson, Dr. John Johnson, the parents of LaVena Johnson. She was 19 years old. She was the first female soldier from Missouri to die in Iraq. We will continue to follow the story, and you can go to our website and we'll link to stories about LaVena, and we will also have the video and the audio podcast as well as transcript at democracynow.org. Her parents speaking to us from their home in St. Louis, Missouri. This is Democracy Now!, democracynow.org, the War and Peace Report. Next up, the performance artist Laurie Anderson. She's performing Homeland at Lincoln Center this week.